Thank you for all your many lessons, Lord Baelish. I will never forget them.
For 7 seasons, Petyr Baelish played the most dangerous game in Westeros and won. He toppled kingdoms. He buried Ned Stark. He sparked a war that killed hundreds of thousands by whispering the right lies into the right ears at exactly the right moment. He was the most dangerous man alive, not because of armies or gold, but because of his mind. He could read a room, find the weakness, and turn a person against the people they loved before they even noticed the knife going in. And in a single scene, Sansa Stark used that mind to destroy him. This is the trial of Petyr Baelish. To understand why it is one of the most psychologically satisfying moments in television history, you have to understand something crucial. Littlefinger does not know he is on trial when he walks through that door.
You stand accused of murder. You stand accused of treason. How do you answer these charges, Lord Baelish?
He found the old letter Sansa wrote to Robb in Season 1, begging him to bend the knee to Joffrey, and set a trap to make sure Arya found it. He knew Arya was watching him. He wanted her to find it. The letter did exactly what he planned. Arya became a threat. Sansa became terrified. The pack was splintering. His endgame was simple. Have Arya executed for treason. With Jon gone and her family destroyed, Sansa would have no one left but him. He walks into that hall, convinced the curtain is about to rise on his greatest performance.
I did it to protect you.
You did it to take power in the Vale.
He never expected a force like Bran to disrupt his game. But before we get to the trial itself, we need to talk about Sansa. Because the woman who walks into that hall is not the girl Littlefinger first met at Winterfell. That girl was sheltered, trusting, naive. Someone who believed the world worked the way the Psalms said it did. Littlefinger stripped all of that away. He handed her off to the Lannisters. He watched her endure Joffrey. He watched her survive a marriage to Tyrion, learning for the first time that not every man in King's Landing wanted to use her as a weapon. Then, he brought her to the Eyrie, kept her close, and taught her how the game was actually played. Read the room, find the motive, assume the worst. He was teaching her. He just didn't realize she was taking notes. By the time she returns to Winterfell, Sansa has lived inside manipulation long enough to recognize every shape it takes. She has been lied to by masters. She has been used, traded, and survived. The girl who once froze under pressure has become someone who can hold a room, build a trap, and spring it without flinching. Littlefinger made her. He just never thought she'd turn the lesson back on him. To understand why Bran's presence is the final nail in Littlefinger's coffin, you have to understand what a green seer actually is. Bran is not a boy with vague premonitions. By this point in the story, he has become something closer to a living archive. He can witness any moment in history, past or present, as though standing inside it. Not memory, direct vision. Every private conversation, every whispered betrayal, every secret transaction conducted behind locked doors. And this is why Bran doesn't just change the trial, he makes it possible. Littlefinger's entire power structure was built on one foundational assumption: that private moments stay private, that the lies told in empty rooms leave no trace. His manipulation only worked because there were no witnesses to contradict him, no record of what was actually said, no way to prove what happened behind closed doors. Bran renders that entire system irrelevant. He is the witness Littlefinger never accounted for. Someone who can step into any moment in history and simply watch. Every conversation Littlefinger believed was buried, every secret he thought he'd sealed away, Bran can access all of it. Without him, the trial has gaps. With him, it has no floor. When Littlefinger gave Bran the Valyrian steel dagger in episode 4,
You said I did warn you not to trust me.
You told our mother this knife belonged to Tyrion Lannister. Well, that was another one of your lies. It was yours.
an attempt to build goodwill, Bran accepted the gift, looked him directly in the eyes, and said, "Chaos is a ladder." Littlefinger's expression shifted immediately, because that line came from a private conversation with Varys in King's Landing years ago. No one else was there. No ravens, no witnesses, no conceivable way for Bran Stark to know those words. And yet, there they were. In that moment, Littlefinger understood he was playing poker against a boy who could see every card on the table, including the ones still in his hand. His arrogance told him he could still outmaneuver it. He kept running the play. He should have run. Before the scene begins, there is a fan theory worth addressing. The idea that the man who dies is actually a faceless man. That Littlefinger, realizing the trap was closing, paid the mysterious woman from episode 5 to wear his face and die in his place while he slipped away. The theory exists because viewers struggle to accept that a schemer of his caliber could be caught so cleanly, and because that brief, unexplained interaction with the woman seemed to have no other purpose in the episode. Here is why it is wrong. A faceless man, a trained assassin who has fully surrendered personal identity, would not beg, would not crack, would not crumble into someone calling out desperately for Catelyn Stark in his final moments.
I loved your mother since the time I was a boy.
And yet you betrayed her.
What happens in this scene is not performance. It is the collapse of a man who has never, not once in his life, believed that he could lose. The narcissism that carried him through every scheme, the unshakable conviction that he was always the smartest person in the room, is disintegrating in real time. That cannot be purchased. This is Petyr Baelish, and it is the first time he has run out of moves. The prep springs the moment Arya is called to the center of the hall. Are you sure you want to do this? Arya plays the accused. Cold, threatening. Littlefinger's confidence surges. The sisters at each other's throats. Exactly as planned. He thinks the game is still his.
That's what you do, isn't it? That's what you've always done. Turn family against family, turn sister against sister. That's what you did to our mother and Aunt Lysa, and that's what you tried to do to us.
Sansa, please.
I'm a slow learner.
It's not what I want. It's what honor demands. Sansa says the word honor, and Littlefinger relaxes. Honor is the Stark blind spot, the rigid, old-world code that got Med killed, the weakness he has spent his career weaponizing. He hears it, and reads it as confirmation that Sansa is still the girl he shaped, still predictable, still safe. He is not paying attention to who she is looking at. You stand accused of murder. You stand accused of treason. How do you answer these charges, Lord Baelish? Sansa is not looking at Arya. She is looking directly at him. In one breath, the room he thought he controlled becomes a cage. He goes from puppeteer to defendant without a single step, and no one gives him a moment to recover. His first instinct is to perform confusion. The polite, baffled uncle. He is banking on the old Sansa, the one who froze under pressure, who needed him to navigate a world that frightened her. She doesn't freeze. She opens with the charge she personally witnessed. Lysa Arryn's murder, Season 4. She was in that room. She saw him push Lysa through the moon door.
You murdered our aunt, Lysa Arryn. You pushed her through the moon door and watched her fall. Do you deny it?
And crucially, she lied to the Lords of the Vale afterwards to protect him, telling them Lysa fell. By beginning here, she is not simply leveling a charge. She is publicly revoking the protection she once gave him. Every lord in that hall who trusted the story Sansa told is now hearing her dismantle it herself. She is burning down the foundation of his safety, brick by brick, in front of the only witnesses who matter. Think about what it takes to do that. For years, Littlefinger held power over Sansa, partly because she was complicit. She had lied for him, covered for him, made herself an accessory to his crime. That complicity was a chain around her. She severs it in public, on her own terms, as the first move of the prosecution. I did it to protect you.
Thank you, Sansa. I have known you since you were a girl. I've protected you.
Protected me by selling me to the Boltons.
He pivots to altruism immediately. Reframe the murder as devotion. Make her feel responsible for what he did in her name. It is the same move he has been making on her for years, and she does not absorb it. You did it to take power in the Vale. She names the ambition underneath the act and leaves the savior mask on the floor. Earlier, you conspired to murder Jon Arryn. You gave Lysa the tears of lice. Here is where the composure genuinely starts to fracture. These are Season 1 secrets. Things only Lysa knew. He runs the rapid calculation. How wide is the net? How long have they been building this? He tries to deflect blame, reverse the situation, make himself the victim of a dead woman's delusions. Calls Lysa troubled, paranoid. Positions himself as the target of accusations from someone who can no longer answer back. He forgot who is sitting in the corner. You had Lysa send a letter to our parents, blaming the Lannisters for Jon Arryn's death.